All right, we rolling, I think. What's
Be
up,
wrong.
everybody? Man, I had to blow the dust off the mic. Is that how you say it? Yeah, fuck it, we'll go with it. It's been a minute, but we're back here with returning guest, pretty much just another basically a host at this point, co-host Brian Johnson, Pike County Trophy Doe Hunters Association. Brian,
What's up, guys? Glad to be back. Hadn't
appreciate
heard
you
from
hopping on
Devin
here.
and hadn't heard from Devin in a minute.
I been on night shift. I've been pretty busy with it and live like an owl, and I don't really talk to very many people, which is why I have not released a podcast in a minute. But here we are. Appreciate you jumping on. I'm gonna do the Officer Down Memorial. Are you doing one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first. The gentleman I'm going to be talking about is Deputy Sheriff Austin Derek Aldridge. Aldridge was employed through the Spartansburg County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina. His end of watch was Tuesday, June 21st of 2022. Deputy Sheriff Austin Aldridge was shot and killed while responding to a domestic call at 3:20 p.m. In Spartansburg. When Deputy Aldridge approached the house, he was ambushed by the subject. Bystanders gave medical aid to Deputy Aldridge until EMS arrived and then provided responding officers with a description of the suspect and his vehicle. Another deputy spotted the subject and attempted a traffic stop. The man pretended to surrender but shot at the deputy, who returned fire before fleeing again. After crashing the vehicle, the subject engaged in another shootout before running into the woods, where members of the SWAT team and a police canine took him into custody. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. No officers were injured in the pursuit and the apprehension of the suspect. Deputy Aldridge was transported to the hospital where he succumbed to his wounds at 9:26 p.m. Deputy Aldridge had served with the Spartansburg County Sheriff's Office for 3 years. He's survived by his wife, who's 25 years old. Tour was 3 years long. So rest in peace to Deputy Aldridge. And BJ, go ahead.
All right. Mine is Deputy Sheriff Thomas Baker III from Nicholas County Sheriff's Office in West Virginia. Deputy Sheriff Tom Baker was shot and killed after he and another deputy responded to a domestic disturbance in the Birch River area of Nicholas County. He and his partner were talking to two men who'd come out of a trailer. Both men ran back into the trailer as the deputies pursued them and attempted to apprehend them by deploying a taser. Once inside the trailer, the men opened fire on the deputies. Deputy Baker was struck in the back and his partner was wounded in the leg as they sought cover outside the trailer. Despite their wounds, they were able to return fire and one of the men was killed. The second man was apprehended following a barricade and was charged with first-degree murder. Deputy Baker had served in law enforcement for 19 years. He was the deputy who found Deputy Sheriff William Giacomo on September 11th, 2000, which I assume that's a local story. Prior to joining the Nicholas County Sheriff's Department, he served with the Crown Police Department, Summersville Police Department, Raleigh County Sheriff's Department, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. He is survived by his wife, two children, two stepchildren, grandmother, and sisters.
Rest in peace.
That taser thing bothers me.
Yeah, it's I was just having this conversation with one of the gentlemen on my shift last night about some issues I have with tasers.
When someone's running away from you into a house, you don't know what's in that house. I'm not tasing anybody. I'm snatching them by their legs or I'm going for the gun, one of the two.
Yeah, there's just so many options, and
there's so much shit going on. I mean, obviously I wasn't there. This is a 2-paragraph synopsis of what the hell happened. It's just, I don't know. One of my buddies from Springfield has a combatives page, like he teaches law enforcement combatives and or combat fitness or whatever the hell he calls it.
Control
And
tactics.
yeah, essentially, but he's got his own business. And Paladin Combatives is the name of the business. And his whole thing is to end tool reliance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was just having this conversation last night because there's just so many videos and the gentleman that I was speaking to was kind of one of them that it's like before anything happens, we have tasers in our hands whenever we're running around. It's like, man, I don't want anything in my hands because if you got to go hands on, I want both of those bad boys, and then I don't want a taser or another weapon or tool or whatever to be free and out there for somebody else to grab. So
I've been on since
Yeah,
2016 and I've never tased anybody and never maced anybody. And I don't, to my knowledge, I know I've never had a use of force complaint that was legitimate, but I've had very minimal use of force complaints in the first place. And I've never tased or maced anybody. I've always gone hands on. So if you have
I think part of that is because you're a gigantic person.
Yeah, but you'd think that would get me complained on more.
No, they don't want to fuck with you, so they're just like, all right, you don't need to pull a taser on nothing. You big giant ass. I'll
Well,
do
I mean,
whatever.
I'm not saying that I haven't. I mean, I've never, I guess, lost a fight at work, but I don't know. It's people always complain. They're like, you're too big. Why are you messing with me? Why are we fighting in my yard right now? Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's on you, bro. Because I mean,
Absolutely.
when I worked in jails, I had complaints. It was all BS though. But jails are different.
Yeah. So I actually just got my like certification, I guess you will, to be able to start holding control tactics courses. And that's one of the topics that I have on there is how people are going straight to tasers whenever we don't need to, because how many times can we see or have we seen now that body cams are huge and there's more videos out there than ever, how many times have we seen those tasers fail? And I've used my taser.
Not only that,
I'm not
but
saying they're a bad thing. I've tased several people, but
they're getting attacked. They're getting attacked in politics too. Like, what's the point? Like
Right.
I guess in Georgia, well, that whole Garrett Rolfs thing with the Wendy's, that thing from 2 years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well,
Where he took
he shot that dude who stole his taser,
like got out the taser or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the dude tried to tase him twice or whatever, and he shot him, but or whatever. Well, I guess Georgia says tasers are firearms now.
Right.
And if you read the Illinois statute, you can get charged with UUW for a taser. So
yeah, it's interesting. Speaking of all this, I mean, obviously we don't need to say where, but you've changed employment.
Hell yeah.
Since the last time we talked. How's the new gig going?
I have zero complaints. Absolutely zero complaints. I'm working so much overtime. I'm so much happier. I have I got a squad car in my driveway now. I don't have to drive 40 miles to go to a job where they don't give a shit about you.
Sure. Yeah, I know you had kind of talked a little bit about some politics at your last place. Just size comparison, because I don't know what'd you go to and what are you at now?
I was at a town of about 5,000 with a jurisdiction of a little larger than the town, but it was a factory town, so there was always problems. Now I'm at a county that I live in. It's like 750 square miles. So much better. I think there's 40,000 residents in the county.
Well, good. I'm glad it's working out for you.
Oh yeah. I could not have been happier. I've applied here 4 times. So it was only a matter of time until
They're finally desperate enough for you.
Yeah.
It's hard to find anything right now. We just tested and we have like 11 applicants that
That's
passed the test.
pathetic, dude.
It's crazy.
Dude, I was told, granted, don't quote me on the numbers. It's all just relative because it's like the scale is what matters with the story. But I was told that the troopers put on a fast track testing day up in Chicago, and they were expecting 1,000 people to show up because of the new fast track requirements they just put through.
Right.
And they had like less than 40.
Well, they're dicking everybody. We had one guy go through because they pretty well promised him that he wouldn't have to move. He lived down here. He told them, I mean, he's got a family. He's a little than years. But yeah, they basically told him or made it seem like he wasn't going to have to move. He could stay in his district. If he did have to go up north, it'd be just for a very small period of time, and then he'd be able to transfer down here. So he accepts the job offer, leaves us, goes to academy, and then like a week before academy's done, they're like, yeah, we're sending this entire class up north, and no idea when you'll be able to put in for transfer or anything like that. He walked out. He's like, I'm done. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. But then he just left his job that he had. So I think they're dicking everybody around, and everybody knows it, and not very many people want to work up by Chicago.
Yeah, that's kind of like everybody that's south of Chicago. That's kind of like their number one deal. They're like, do I have to go to the tollway? Yes or no? Answer the question right now.
And they won't answer it.
Yeah.
They're like,
I went to the-
well, maybe.
Well, I went to the academy with 20 CPOs, and they didn't know their assignment until like 3 or 4 weeks before they were done.
I don't understand how they put, like, how are you to just move your entire life with 2 weeks notice?
Yeah, and
So,
they gave them a little longer than 2 weeks because whenever they found out they had the rest of the academy, granted, they only have a day and a half off a week to do anything. Then they had a 2-week buffer before they started FTO, but still, like my cousin Kyle, he was lower on the lower half of the seniority list. He was going to be sent to cook. It was almost automatic. And then like the very last second, like with microseconds to spare, there was a district that opened up over on the like up by Galena, I think. So he just took the first available, and it happened to be that one. So he didn't end up having to go to cook, but still he's 4 hours from the rest of his family down here.
yeah,
But
I don't get it. It's tough.
yeah, that annoyed the shit out of me. And then you got a bunch of guys went way down south, like to Metropolis.
Mhm.
And granted, they're probably happy to. Well, your boy from high school,
Oh, Wolf. Yeah,
yeah, I went to the academy with him.
good dude. He's actually moving back up here, I think.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me. I hadn't talked to him probably in 2-3 years, but he got sent down to damn near Paducah, like 5 seconds from Paducah, Kentucky.
And thank
And
God he did, because he went and got my freaking bino harness. Shout out to Dustin. Appreciate you still, buddy.
yeah, Dustin he's quiet, but he's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, I don't know, the thing that did a lot of them a big favor was that a lot of them, because they were, I think 12, no, they're about 30 CPO short. So they're 30 short, they're sending 20 through the academy. And then the only thing they have to wait on is the dudes that are already on the job to basically put in their transfers. And then they give the guys in the academy the list of what's left.
Right.
So there could have been late transfers. There could have been dudes that just forgot to put in or whatever, but it seemed like a lot of them got to go where they wanted. But then there was like 7 or 8 of the 20 that had to go up to cook regardless. But a lot of them were from the burbs, so they didn't care.
Yeah, Dustin was down in Shawnee, and I think if I were to be in conservation, I think that would be a good area to
For sure.
Start
Problem
in
is
at
you got to
least.
deal with you don't really deal with civilization down there. It's a lot of, like horror stories from, the hill rods of the South type of thing. But I don't know. I would be I'd be butthurt if they maybe cover a whole national forest and like 6 counties by myself way down there where there may not be a car drive down this road for 3 days. And you're out here with I don't know, dealing with 4 hillbillies with guns that don't want you around because they just poached 3 deer.
Dude, some of those horror stories and shit that you hear are insane. There was one there, that one big one that was going through meat eater and bear grease. That one was pretty incredible, and it's probably pretty common for conservation to be out in the middle of the freaking night trying to find a poacher, and shit goes south. I mean, they got nothing to lose by
Yeah,
running and doing whatever.
I know some CPOs that have been working cases for 5 and 6 years because they really only get to do like if they're trying to build a case on somebody, they really only have 90 days a year to do it. If we're talking
Right.
about deer hunting and stuff.
So I can totally hear everything you're saying, but the video and my laptop's crazy and sucks. So people, if it's all messed up, then I apologize. Audio's one, but my internet sucks. Your internet probably isn't the best, but anyways, we're gonna keep rolling. So yeah, it would be a completely different world. Like I know people that talk, and I used to kind of be this way when I first started hunting. How like scary it is to be in the dark woods alone. Like, could you only imagine if you're out there with like you're literally hunting a person and they know you're around? Like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why they all wait at the trucks anymore.
Yeah,
I don't really see too many CPOs sneaking through the woods looking for
Sure.
shit unless they're like trying to sit at the bank and watch duck hunters or something.
yeah, it'd be interesting. Be an interesting job. What switch topics here? What made you decide to shave all the hair off your face?
I have to now.
Oh yeah, the new gig they make you.
Yeah, the
You look
sheriff's an
like
ex.
12.
I know the sheriff's an ex-trooper and he likes the clean shaven look.
Shit came to the dark side. You'd been able to have a beard.
We've been having this argument for 3 years. I'm not coming over and I'm not moving. You should see the view. The view out my house. I can see like the water towers 11 miles away. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, but there's no meth heads that you
Bullshit.
can see. No, sorry,
yanked.
that you can't look out your window and see them.
No, that's false. I went down the street the other night and yanked a meth head out of a car who's trespassing at someone's grain bins.
Fair enough. We have like 3 or 4 zombie girls walking around town that just get blitzed and then they get called in like every day.
There, my old department just had some
I just had a shooting.
homicide. I don't know if the guy died or not, but
You didn't pay real
Usually
close
they're
attention,
good.
even though you think I would, with them being so
They're-
close.
they're good for one about every 4 or 5 years. But I think, don't quote me on this, I think they were kids. I think everyone involved was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, that's the messed up part. That's probably why I don't know anyone's name.
Dude, juveniles, it is becoming insane. And I know it's summertime and we're finally kind of getting towards I don't know, I guess maybe you could consider it the middle or definitely after the beginning of summer. The beginning of summer is just terrible. I mean, the local park that has a pool here opens up, and I bet we get called to that park at least 10 times a day for juveniles just fighting and being assholes and destroying property. And it's every day. And you get there, they scatter. It's just so annoying. Because it's just so immature. But then we have this group of juveniles right now that's kind of going around and they're wearing masks. It's like ski mask everywhere they go, just stern shit. And then there was a video going around Facebook, and I think the one has been arrested, but he was like flashing a handgun in front of the camera, and I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous, but they're running around with guns, it sounds like.
Kids are ballsier than now than ever.
Oh, they just don't give a shit.
They do not care, and they know that we can't do shit about it unless they actually, short of murder, attempted murder, residential burglary, and some other big ones. They know that ain't shit gonna happen to them unless they got a bunch of points on them already.
Yep. Most of these ones, I mean, they have some, but not enough, and they know that. And they just don't. They really don't care, because some of them are ones that I've been in the courtroom, and the judge tells them they do one more thing, even at school. You're tardy one more time, we're sending you to the juvenile detention facility, and it's like they're calling your bluff because they're out here fucking doing all kinds of shit. But it is what it is. It is honestly one of the parts, one of the only parts of this job that I dislike is dealing with juveniles.
Yes, agreed.
It's more,
That's one reason
more or
I
less
didn't take the
babysitting
SRO
and
position in my old job.
oh yeah, no, not a chance. It would be a little bit better because you're at least like structured in a structured environment, but still.
No, I just wouldn't be able to do any real police work. I'd have to just babysit kids all day. Every report turns into a juvenile report, and that just makes it harder. Every interview turns into a juvenile interview.
Mhm.
Then you got to deal with the parents and the kids. And a lot of parents don't like you any more than the kids do. And yeah, and 7 to 3 don't care. Do not care. I don't care about the hours. I like midnights anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of kids, your sex trophy around there anywhere?
No, I dropped him off at grandma's earlier. My sister-in-law and her little small army of children are in town. They have dentist appointments, and they're going blackberry or no, picking blueberries or something today.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They don't live around. They live about an hour and a half away. But so I dropped him off at grandma's about 10:30. Then I had to
Why
run
don't you
up.
tell the people about little man?
Well, he was born in February during an ice storm, and he's been pretty good since. He's going through another growth spurt right now, so he's not sleeping worth a shit, and he's eating every couple hours, and his mom's going crazy.
If he has your
But
genes, he's probably about 3 foot tall right now.
he's very, very tall. He's we had his 4-month appointment on Friday, and he's 25 and some change inches long, and he's only 12 pounds. He was not a very big baby. He's not a fat baby or a chunky baby at all. He's very long and skinny, but he's got huge hands and huge feet and really long legs.
Yeah, he's gonna be a giant.
Yeah, he looks
I don't
just
know if
like
it's science, but I've noticed that if the baby's like short and fat, then they kind of end up being average height and weight. But if they're skinny and long, then they end up being a fucking BJ Sasquatch match.
I'm only 6'5".
Yeah, only. It's only like 5 full inches above the average.
I was 6'3"
5 inches
until
is a lot, trust me.
I was 6'3" until I went to college. I grew almost 2 inches in college.
It's a big 2 inches.
Yeah, that's what she
Yeah.
said.
I don't know that I've ever heard that. Okay, little man. What's his name?
William.
It's a very BJ thing of you to do.
It's
Come
a
here,
family
William.
name.
Come here, William. Be a nerd with me, William.
Oh, dude, we got his little swing thing set up in front of the window with the bird feeder.
Hell
He's
yeah.
all about it. And he can't really see
Neat.
anything, yet, like very far. So he just sits at the window and watches the tree move in the wind. He loves that shit.
Does he have an Excel spreadsheet of the different birds that he's seen already?
No, once he gets his first tablet, I'll download the Merlin app, which if you're not familiar with the Merlin app, it's a bird ID app, and then I'll download the Cornell app of ornithology.
What's the one where it picks up the sound and that
Oh,
tells you what bird it is?
there's probably that on the Merlin app.
I think I think I heard about it on MeatEater maybe. But you can download it and just hold your phone out, and then as the birds chirp, it'll tell you which one's making the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, I actually the other day at work, I run into a guy. It was about 4:30. He was driving on a road that he really had no business being on. He was standing in the ditch with a clipboard and a high vis vest on. And I pulled up and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I am doing a bird survey for the DNR, and I got to stop every single mile for 26 miles and log every bird I see in here." And I'm like, I used to do a very similar job with fish. So have at it. Godspeed.
Seems like it'd be a little more difficult with fish.
It is, but you can use electricity.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I thought about getting a bow fishing set up.
You know what? I had one about 12 years ago. My friend Levi, he lived in a little town called Chandlerville, and it was right next to the Sangamon River, the Illinois River, a bunch of like little river towns. And we would go up underneath bridges when the river would flood and wait till the water would go back, and it would leave those big pools.
Mm-hmm.
We just bow fish and just shoot gar and carp all day long in those back channels.
I've never done it. I actually just my girlfriend's family member gave me his like super old recurve. It's nothing special, but I've just been kind of plinking in the bag, been trying to shoot rabbits with it and haven't been successful yet. But I was thinking that'd be kind of perfect to have a little fishing setup on, just nice and quick. And
you want some like a bow with some actual like speed, like not a lot, but a little more than a recurve probably, because it's got to go through water.
Yeah.
So I use an old it was my first bow, reflex is what it is, a reflex. I can picture it, I just can't think of the model number. But I shot that thing from like 05 to 07. And I don't know how old it was when I got it. But it's one of those old bows that's almost like the limbs are so long, it's almost like a recurve.
Well, hell, I got two sitting right here. Those are my backup bows. Could just set one of those up.
What do you got?
The black one's the monster, the monster wake, and then the white one's my Creed that I had Cerakoted white.
What's the draw length on those?
29 and a half.
Like that's what it maxes out at?
Oh, I'm sure it would go farther. I'm not sure. Creed's 29 and a half, and the monster is 29.
I need 31. I need between 31 and 32, depends on the model. But like the bear I bought from Tyler, that one is 31, but when my old Hoyt, I needed to be 32. Then I shot the Matthews Atlas, and that was just a little long at 32. So it was 31 and a half was what fit right. And it's whatever. I just don't want to buy another fucking bow.
Are you still shooting the bear?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you, okay. How you liking it?
I need to get more arrows because the buck I shot, it I broke like 4 arrows off that day. It was a long story.
That's worse than anything I've ever done.
And well, I can tell the story if you want.
Hell yeah, you broke 4 arrows. I want to hear about it. You have not
All
told
right.
me about this one, I don't think.
Okay, well, I was shooting cheapo arrows anyway. They were on clearance at Shields, so I just bought a shit ton of them. I was like, I gotta have some that'll fly right. So I hold on, I gotta move. Hold on. Okay, so I was shooting these cheap arrows. Tyler was not impressed. They were wobbly as hell. He still makes fun of me. I saw him at the Deer Turkey Classic, and he still made fun of me for shooting these bullshit arrows.
He's hilarious.
But did he get a new number?
Nah.
Okay, maybe he just won't text me back then. I'll bring that up next time I see him.
I think he's pretty busy because he was doing that. They're doing the 3D stuff. He's been doing the state and all that shit. So, not
Well, hold
making
on.
excuses for him. Tyler, get your shit together.
I texted him on Tuesday and I said, when is the shop back to normal hours? Because he was doing the 3D thing. And also, how did Jordan do at the tournament? Left me on red for a whole week.
You want me to call him right now?
No. No, he's probably tonsils deep in a bologna sandwich right now. We don't need to interrupt him.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, I'll just call him before I mow the grass. But so anyway, I was shooting these bullshit arrows and it was January. So it's like coming down to the fucking wire. And 2 days prior, I saw this deer that was an absolute giant. And I need to draw a diagram, but so river bottoms, bedding area. It's like a half moon, like pyramid shape. And then there's a creek, like a flood channel that goes around this bedding area. And it's got about 20 yards wide worth of trees on both, like that straddle this flood channel. And I was sitting on a spot where 3 of them meet, and there's also a levee system. Well, I was sitting right there, and they come up out of the river and went and cut the bedding area straight in half. Usually they go the downwind side, and I thought that's where I was going to be. Well, they just cut the thing straight in half and went right up past me. So that night when I got down, and this deer had come all the way over here and then went back and took that trail. Like, so it was almost to me, like all I had to do was cross the channel, but the beavers had dammed it up and it was way deeper. It was like probably waist deep on me, would have been neck deep on the deer. So he just turned around and went to a shallower spot and crossed. Well, then when I got down that night, I went over to that spot and I thought, and this is like every fucking deer's been crossing right here. And it was, had been iced over a little bit, but the ice was broken right there. So 2 nights later, I go and I climb up the tree, and I just got my new beast sticks, and those things are badass. And climb the tree. Oh, dude, that was one thing I had to convince my wife. I was like, dude, these hawks are fucking junk.
That's a big upgrade.
Oh yeah. And I told her, I said, I don't even feel safe in them anymore. And that was back before I gained all this fucking weight and got fat again. I was like, I don't even feel safe in these motherfuckers anymore. And if we're having a kid, I don't want to fucking be paralyzed. And she's like, all right. So then Beast was having a sale. And I said, honey, like the next day, I said, honey, it's our lucky day. But I can save $100 if I buy these today. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, I have to do it. And so I sold those hawks to some kid in Shelbyville. But so I climbed up there and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see 3 does, and it's January and I haven't shot a deer yet. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pop one of these does real quick. Well, then behind the does comes like a little basket 8. I'm like, okay. Then behind the basket 8 comes the deer I end up shooting. It was a perfectly clean 8-pointer, no trash, but the G2s were like I don't know, the G2s didn't grow like in the normal G2 spot. They grew way more forward on the rack. So it kind of looked funky, but it looked way taller than it really was. It didn't have much for a spread, but I think one G2 was 12 inches and the other one was 10, or one was 11 and one was 9, something like that. And he looked like a horse compared to the other deer. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this one. And he was probably 4, if I were to guess. He just didn't have he only scored 114 actually.
Right.
I thought he was gonna score higher than that, but 8-pointers will do that.
Yeah.
So I had 2 does directly underneath me. Then the basket rate was feeding broadside about 25 yards. Then this other deer circled downwind of the other deer. So this particular day I had a south wind, so it really didn't matter. They came from the south of me. So, but he circled around those deer. So the deer that were in front of me could see everything I was doing, but the other deer, his head was behind a tree. Well, then he started to move towards me and they were all going to take this trail and cross right underneath me. So I'm drawn back and I just got the bow pointed down, and it's only a 60-pound bow, so I can pretty much hold it as long as I need to. And I just got it pointed down. Well, the does blow and everything kind of gets up and starts looking, but nothing spooked. Well, then that bigger buck that I shot walked towards me and stands in a shooting lane, but he's really, really hard quarter two, but I have a perfect shot, like the armpit heart shot. And he's like 20 some yards. So, but all the rest of these deer are on high alert. So I put it right in the fucking armpit and I let her go. And he jumped that fucking shot so bad and spun. He like ducked and spun. And I spined him right between his back legs.
My man.
And I took one out of your book.
Very Devin thing of you to do.
I know. And so I spined him, and then so he broke the broadhead was stuck in his spine. He broke the arrow off. Well, then he's spinning in circles on the ground. So I knock another arrow and I pull back and I shoot, and he's laying head away from me. I have full vitals, full everything. And I don't know if I clipped something or if I just fucking missed, but I think I shot right below his belly line, and like his legs broke the arrow off after it was in the ground. So then now the deer's just spinning in circles and he's real fucking freaked out. So I climbed down, crossed the thing, and by now he has crawled into a patch of willow trees that are all this big around, and they're 2 inches apart.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go like this, and I pull back. I'm standing over his hind quarter, right? And I pull back, and his front leg starts moving the trees. And when I let that arrow go, it hits a sapling. It hits a sapling and deflects. I was gonna put it right in his lungs. It hits a sapling and deflects into his front shoulder. So there were 3 arrows now.
There's 3.
And he's still alive because he still has yet to be hit in the chest. And so then finally I kind of like just stood on his, like, close enough as I could and just put one in his lungs, and I could hear all the air leave him. But that whole fucking ordeal, I'm just standing there and I'm like, this is I couldn't do this. I couldn't make this shit up. So all 4 arrows broke. I got all my broadheads back, but 2 of them were trashed because I cut it. It took me a day and a half to cut that deer up by myself. And because I had to wait for my cousin to come drag it out. So I didn't get to do anything that night. But the next day I spent like all afternoon cutting it up. And it took me like 23 beers.
Hell yeah.
To do. So it was a 23 beer job.
It's very time consuming.
Yeah. And so then the only arrow I salvaged was the last one. but they were all kind of messed. Like I just retired all of them. But that whole escapade took about less than probably 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But the most of it, the most time was me climbing down out of the tree. But
That's somewhat similar to my Kentucky story. When I smoked that doe, dropped her, and she started crawling into some tall beans. So I loaded up another one. Well, I made one shot at like 55. Well, the second one I missed. I only had one arrow left, so I got down and finished her with the last arrow. But
I called one of my buddies who I went to the academy with. He's a CPO. And I told him, because usually if I'm on private property, a lot of times I have a sidearm in case I see like get attacked by like a fucking mountain lion or something. And I told him, I was like, dude, this is just so happens to be the one day that I had too many clothes on to bring my pistol, or else I had to just put it out of its misery. And he goes, don't tell me that. I was like, I'm telling you, dude, if I would have ran out of fucking arrows,
yeah,
I would have asked for forgiveness, not permission.
When I shot
That's
my
messed up.
when I shot my buck, when I spined him and I put another arrow in him, it was taking him a little while just because it takes them a little bit. It just felt so bad. I was thinking about walking up and trying to end him with my knife, but I'm like, man, if he moves his head really hard, I'm really gonna hurt. So I'm like, nah, I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do that.
The only thing I got going for me is I always wear eye protection.
Yeah, it's not gonna stop you from getting stabbed though.
That's true. Yeah, I just take a tine right to the jugular.
Yeah, your eye protection ain't gonna do shit for that.
But yeah, so that was a long night. My wife was extremely pregnant at the time. And she didn't know where the fuck I was because I didn't really get reception at the time. I always send her a pin, but it, it had 7, 8 o'clock had rolled around and I still wasn't home. I only lived like 30 minutes from where I was hunting, and it gets dark at 4:50. So she's crying me. She's like, I thought you were dead.
You're fucking over there cussing and sweating your ass off and trying to figure out what the hell you're doing.
And I'm knee deep in water trying to rinse this deer out. My cousin's making fun of me. And we're trying to drag this thing through the river bottoms, and she's calling me, and I got her on speakerphone with him holding the phone right here. I'm elbow deep in deer guts. I'm bent over, and I'm like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And she, like, her hormones were just out of control, and I felt bad. I really did, because I just didn't call her. I texted her, but I just didn't call her and give her the update because I had to wait for my cousin to get off work. He and I share a deer cart, the fancy one. He and I share it.
Oh, yeah.
So he had it this particular day, because he helped a friend drag a deer out. So he had already tagged out. So why he had it still, I don't know. But he had the cart. He was in Springfield. He had to fucking come get me. He had to wait till 7:30 to get off work. It was a mess.
So you're saying you had a lot of downtime where you could have just reached out to your better half?
Yeah. Well, I updated her via text. I just didn't give her like a timeline. She doesn't really have an idea of how long stuff can take sometimes.
It does take some time.
Yeah. But whatever.
Well, I'll always give you shit for that story because it's worse than mine usually are. The problem is I have 4 or 5 stories that are similar to
Right.
that.
I've only got the one. I've never I've wounded some deer, but I've never spined one or headshot one or neck shot one.
But was it not the best track you've ever been on?
I guess
it's okay to tell the truth. Yes.
No,
there's no
the track itself. I never lost sight of it. It never went anywhere.
Exactly.
But immediately after it got shot and it crawled into that thicket or whatever, that was pretty bad.
There's no like you shoot and then it runs away and you got to think of all the bad stuff. Like, what if it didn't really hit where I thought it did
Yeah,
or
I feel
whatever?
you.
There's no stress. It's like, I see him. It's right there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I told you that story to tell you this story. I got to go to Tyler's and he's gonna give me some new arrows.
Well, you know which ones you're getting?
Easton Axis 5mm.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna get the
I think
260s.
Chase was shooting those for a little bit.
Did he cut them?
He said they shot really well. I don't know. That dude's
Because
crazy.
my cousin's been shooting the small diameter ones, but I think I'm gonna go with the 5mm. It's just a little beefier. And I need
Is there like a 4mm?
yeah, the 4mm ones are just to me they just feel cheap. They're just too small.
I think he had the 4, but he said they shot pretty good.
I don't doubt it. I'm gonna keep, unless I need to change my setup, I'm gonna keep my slick tricks or maybe try some extra broadheads, but I'm gonna stick with 100 grain.
I just
And
dropped some money the other night.
yeah, well, Tyler's gonna build on his website. It says $145. His shit's never updated, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's still accurate, but still, you can't even buy shafts at Shields on sale for less than that, really. So
Yeah, arrows are nuts. I got my
So I'm
price
gonna
tag
get.
whenever he got
I'm
mine.
gonna. He's gonna build me a dozen. Put some brass collars on them. I think we talked about it briefly, and then we'll play around with the fletchings. He's got like a little bit of a system when it comes to arrows, and how he puts them together. So I'm just gonna trust him unless they suck, which I doubt they will.
He put all mine. I mean, we didn't do super custom or nothing, but he did. They look good. They're flying good.
Yeah, that's good. I've had nothing but problems with arrows the last couple of years, dude. I just can't. I don't know if it could be my form, but I just have a hard time believing that I've shot perfectly fine my entire life up till like the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's
And I started changing more
I don't think
shit.
it's
And
you.
the arrows I was using were discontinued, and then I've had nothing but problems with arrows since then.
Definitely gotta find your right one. Cause I got lucky and Momentum, the guy that owned it, he got me set up with these kinetic pierces from Gold Tip, and they've flown great for me. They've done really well. And so I've just stuck with those the last 3 or 4 years.
I tried the Easton 6.5s because they were the most comparable thing to what I was shooting, which were the Beeman ICS. And I was not impressed with those at all. I still have a box of them in the garage, but whatever. I'm just gonna finally spend money on arrows. I've only ever shot cheap arrows.
Yeah, I've really went head deep into fucking expensive arrows, but so I shot tooth of the arrow broadheads last year. I like them, but they are a wedge, and I ended up shooting. It was with my backup bow, the Wake, so it's not got as much zing to it as my Verdicts does. But I shot that doe towards the end of season and hit her right in the shoulder, and it did not go in at all. It just stuck right in her. So I lost that arrow in that broadhead, and I'm like, man, at that distance, and the arrow weight I have going, like, there's no reason it shouldn't blow through that. So you really listen to those guys, and they talk about how, especially a 4-blade, except tooth the arrow is a 4-blade. I don't know if I have it here. Upstairs, but regardless, I mean, they just talk about that being a huge wedge, so it doesn't really matter how heavy your arrow is. It's just going to wedge into something really hard, and it did it to a T. So I just it was Saturday night. I went back to Iron Will single bevels. I bought 6 of them, so we'll see how they do for me.
Yeah, I like those. I don't know. I kind of like the smaller broadheads. I've never shot mechanicals, and I hate mechanicals, but I like the Slick Trick Viper tricks are okay. Q80 Exodus or no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty good. I like
Those
those.
are pretty popular. I like those.
So we'll see. Then G5, came out with a solid 3-blade Montec that
I want to
that
say
might-
that's what Cam Haynes was shooting until he got picked up by Iron Will. Thing.
it's possible.
Yeah, no, I really did like my first set of Iron Wills, but they were the wide and they were vented, so they're just super loud. So, but they fucking shot good and they penetrate good. But I just feel like the animals hear that shit coming because I think about it like, you're just standing there in the summertime and you like right at the last second you hear and see a fly like coming right at your face. You usually can dodge it. Like the same thing with deer, except they're better than us. So they hear that arrow coming.
Yeah, for sure. I was listening to something on one of the Exodus podcasts, the Deer Gear podcast. You ever listen to that one? One of the guys from Exodus, the trail cams. They had a guy named Dorch. I don't know. He's foreign. I don't know where he's from, but he's from a company called Fire Knock or whatever. And he basically had several episodes about aerodynamics and aero stuff and totally different information than we're pretty much absorbing through most of media anyway. And he broke it all the way down to like the vein shape, broadhead shape, all kinds of stuff. So it's worth a listen, but he made it sound like the deer hear the high profile veins more than they hear the the string or.
Yeah. And I think whenever we did whenever we interviewed Ranch Fairy, I kind of brought that up, how I thought just from my experiences and watching a bunch of shit, that I feel like deer react to the arrow, the sound of the arrow way more than the bowstring.
Oh, for sure.
I believe in it. Cause I mean, there's so many different noises in the woods that I don't know that necessarily just a pinging sound would necessarily make them react the way that they do. I think it's them reacting to something coming directly at them. So I definitely think they're hearing the arrow more than anything. But then doing some research on the YouTubes and stuff, you hear or you see people doing different vein reviews, and it's incredible. Like even just like a normal phone picks up audio, the difference in the sound of the arrow flight with different veins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this summer I'm going to set up a phone tripod and play it in slow-mo so I can watch the arrow leave the bow. Shoot a couple old arrows, see what the difference is.
I hope you shoot your phone.
No, it won't be like that.
I'll set up behind you.
Or a profile view or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing that. That's how I found out. And it wasn't that hard to find out, but it just was kind of new. But when I was shooting those True Blue crossbreeds or whatever, which was a expandable outsert thing, that's how I found out that they were opening before, or just as they're coming off my bow. I slow mode it and I was like, dude, the whole fucking blade's sitting there spinning like a helicopter. Those are pretty cool. They're actually coming out with a new broadhead soon, so I'm kind of interested to see what they got. But I love the concept.
Things were obnoxious.
Dude, they were, but I love the idea. You gotta love innovative shit. Like the
Muzzy Trocar makes a head that's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, but this was just a little different. You could change. You could have so much customization. You could change your heads if you wanted. So for like turkeys, I had a Rage on front, and then the True Blue. It's a big ass cut if it hits something.
Fuck turkeys, dude.
Dude, I agree. I want to kill one so bad, but I just can't get her done.
They're so stupid.
I'm 1000% taking a hunting trip down to Shawnee this next season because I'm making it happen.
I fucking hate turkeys.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun trip. So you need to come with.
No.
I bought a Tacoma, and so I'm really contemplating getting a bed rack and then rooftop tent, so I can just go down and just park anywhere and just when I want to go hunt, I just hop out of the tent, or walk into the woods.
Yeah, those are, me and the old lady were kicking around the idea of buying a camper, because once I pay off my truck, we won't have any payments really. So we were thinking about a camper, and then it's already almost July. So, I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Might as well
no,
wait.
right. Did you see our new 4Runner?
I don't know. You buy so
I
much
put
shit.
it on the Facebooks. I didn't buy this. This was the old lady.
Oh yeah.
That would be, yeah. That would be the one to also put a rooftop tent on. Cool.
Well,
buy a camper.
yeah.
I mean, you'd have to find somewhere to shit, which I always shit in the woods, but she probably wouldn't be able to do that.
I'm not much of a woodland shitter.
Have I discussed with you my ideas about my new photography business?
No.
Every time I take a shit in the woods, I take a picture of it as if it's in its natural habitat.
You're a fucking idiot.
They look so majestic.
My cousin shits more than he shits like a goose.
Dude, every time I have him on, we end up talking about his shitting experiences.
There have been times where he and I have hung in the same tree, and it never fails. Like he and I, whenever we go together, 7 out of 10 times, something goes wrong on the walk in. Either we don't budget enough time, or we get blown at, or something delays us. So we don't end up getting set up till it's damn near light out already.
Mm-hmm.
And or it just takes us an obnoxious amount of time to set up for some reason. And it never fails. As soon as we get up in the tree, he'll be dangling in his saddle, and then he'll just go, I kind of got a shit. And I'm telling you, it's not even 7 o'clock. And he's just like, man, I kind of got shit. I was like, well, fucking hold it, dude. You're an adult. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Or you're wearing a diaper. Just make a decision. So then he'll like, all right. Okay. Then he'll get up. He'll fucking, adjust his pants. He'll be like, all right, okay, we'll be fine. 45 minutes later, hey man, I think I really got a shit. I'm like, okay, well, go fuck yourself. Just do what you got to do. Okay. Could have taken care of this, or just not eating fucking chili mac last night. One of the two. You knew this was coming. So, but yeah, dude, every single time. There have been times where we've been in the woods. We've been 2 miles into the woods, and we plan on an all-day sit. Noon rolls around. We get down and stretch our legs, check a trail cam or whatever. And he just goes, I got to shit. I was like, okay, go shit. He's like, I think I might go home. I was like, no, you're not. You're not going home. Okay, well, let me call work. Oh, let me call work real quick. No, you're not going to do that either. You're going to go over in the fucking ditch, and you're going to take a shit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to fucking finish hunting. Okay, stop being an asshole.
You knew this was happening.
It's just hard to convince him to do anything after he's already shot a deer.
Uh-huh. And he always shoots him early.
Not always. He's never got tag. He's never has tags left over in like December, but
right. He usually shoots one early. I'll say that since I've known him.
Yeah, he'll always shoot one before shotgun season.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I'm with him. Dude, I could have the exact same everything, food, schedule, everything. And if I'm not going to the woods, I just have kind of a normal shit usually. The moment I step in the woods, it's like the excitement gets to me, and I can't. It has to happen, and it's really big and gnarly. I can't wait to show you my pictures one day.
I haven't shit in the woods since I was in high school.
Dude, I'm so excited to go shit in the mountains in Idaho in September.
You got an elk tag?
Yeah, dude, I didn't tell you that.
You might have. I just don't remember.
I think I did. Downtime. I don't know where it went.
Well, anyway, you got $1,000 elk tag for Idaho is what you're telling me, right?
I don't think it was quite 1,000. It was less than that.
How did you have? Idaho's still over the counter, right?
Dude, I'm tweaking. I can't find it. I'll find it later. Yes. Yeah, so a guy I wrestled with at McKendree. He's been listening to some episodes and he was hearing me. I don't remember. It may have been with Jake Gilbert, but I don't remember. Regardless, one of them I was talking about, and the bucket list is an elk hunt, and he lives down in St. Louis, but his parents live in Idaho, and he's like, we go almost every year. He's like, my parents go every year, obviously. He's like, I've been going the last couple of years, so he's like, you're more than welcome to come. It's over the counter. So so how they do it is, so they just open their over the counter tags, but you obviously can buy them online. So they opened it at like 12 noon on this date, but they started a wait list at 11 a.m. So you get in as early as you can to get your place in line. So I remember I was working nights, but I got up early, set my alarm, and got on at like 11:03. Got in the wait list, and I was in the thousands already. So it took a while, but yeah, got it, and both got the the right zone. So we're going there. Plan is to leave right at the end of August and then hunt that first like 5 days of September. So it's crazy. He's showing me some pretty cool videos and pictures and stuff of their last trips, and his mom's killed a moose. They've killed a couple wolves and shit. So it's pretty cool. Pretty excited.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's another reason why I went with these iron wills.
I got a cousin. I got several cousins that live in Albuquerque. So eventually I want to go down to New Mexico. And then they tell me if I get a unit within an hour of Albuquerque, I can just stay at their house, and they have a fucking mansion. And
Yeah, you do
then
that.
And then I got a buddy who just got married. He lives in that same friend I went bow fishing with. He just moved to Colorado. So he's told me I can come out there whenever. I just got to fight all the locals for spots. He goes, it gets obnoxious out there.
I bet.
In Colorado. Me and Spencer have kicked around South Dakota.
That's all over the counter stuff, right?
South Dakota for mule deer.
They have
All things,
there?
all ideas. Me and Spencer and a couple guys talk about this shit every year and then never do it. Eventually, though, we're gonna have enough spare time to be able to do it, and our kids will be older. And
yeah, it's really why I told myself just to do it, because I always say I'm gonna do something and then it never turns out. Nobody ever really goes forward with it, and it's like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I don't care. So staying on that, I at least want one hunting trip a year. So next year it could be just going down south to Shawnee for turkeys, but that still counts in my book. But I probably will try to plan a different one as well.
Yeah, I just don't. That's another reason I wanted to buy a camper. Is you could bounce around to wherever, and it's always going to be cheaper to camp than it is to get a hotel or
Yes.
whatever. So,
Yeah, that's why I was thinking the rooftop tent because I got to drive there regardless, so I got to spend gas regardless. So not having to pull a camper is huge because that's even more gas, especially the way it's been. And just be able to pull over anywhere and get off the road far enough and just set up your little tent in a couple seconds and sleeping.
I don't know why I'm so tired. So what happened with all your buddies you were doing this with?
This
If you don't want to talk about it, don't worry about it.
no, it's good. Their lifestyles just didn't really match up with what it takes to. I mean, if you really take this stuff like go not full time, but stay on a regular schedule like we were doing, it takes a lot of freaking time out of your schedule. So, they all have families. Poland's got 2 little ones. Clint's got like 4 or 5 kids in his house, and he lives in Shelbyville, so it's a 45-minute drive just to get here. Then we record for an hour or more, then another 45 minutes back home. So it just didn't make sense for him. And then Chase, he thought it was cool at the beginning, and he's like, whatever, I'm on the next thing. So it is what it is. I mean, it's a lot of sacrifice of time and stuff, and I don't know that those guys really realized how much it was. And yeah, it is what it is.
Happens.
Yeah,
happens. I
Poland,
still haven't read Vandy's book.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a different read. Do you have one?
Yeah, he sent me one.
Yeah. Yeah, real quick back to that Poland. Fuck you, Poland, if you're listening. He probably won't. He's not a very social person either. I'm like, why would you think that being on a podcast would be a good idea if you don't really like talking to people? Like, that don't fucking make sense. So he's not very smart.
Do you guys still have that voicemail account?
Shit, Vandy was the one that set that up. So hell, as far as I know, he does. That'd be hilarious. You need to call it. I think the number's probably still on our.
I think it is. That's the only reason I brought it up is because there's been so many times I've been on a long drive and I'm like, I should just call this and leave a prank call or whatever.
I don't see it on the Instagram one.
Oh, well then who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was Vandy's idea, and it's pretty like it would be hilarious if it worked, but play him during the episode. Yeah, no, it is what it is. It was obviously we've slowed down. I've not been putting them out near as much as I was. But still really love doing it. Tyler Kath was fun to talk to.
Oh
Clint
yeah, that
McCoy.
was a great episode.
Clint McCoy was really good. So those were the
I
last two.
I wish I wouldn't have had to bug out on Clint. Clint's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. He's a really good dude. But Tyler was good. Yeah, we had a really good discussion. He's killing it, man.
I know. I probably pull his website up once a week just to look.
I just ordered or I got them in. They're upstairs, but I got an admin pouch and a rangefinder for my bino harness. I've got so much of his shit. I love it.
It is
Can't wait
quality.
to try his day pack out in the old Idaho's. Hopefully I can test out how well it does with a couple 100 pounds.
Are you gonna get a frame pack? I assume you need to.
No, I'm just gonna use his day pack. Figured out. Doesn't have a frame on it, but it'll be all right.
Okay.
Chances are I'm not gonna kill anything, Brian.
Right, but are you going out there for any legal bull, or are you going out there to try and trophy hunt?
Oh, I'm going for a legal bull for sure.
Yeah. So
but then there's also 4 of us, and at least 4 that I know of that are going. So it'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
All right. Okay. You say so.
I do. You live and learn.
What's up?
Said you live and learn. So if I need one and I don't have it, then I guess I'm just fucking got to do what I can with what I got.
Yeah, one of my buddies, Jake, he went out, he bought a bunch of new stuff because him and his uncle were gonna go out west somewhere and hunt muleys. And he didn't draw.
Fuck.
I know, he was so mad. His wife was just as mad because he bought all this shit. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And then he just doesn't have a tag now. And he's so buttered about it.
Yeah, wouldn't you wait until you got the tag before you started spending money?
He wasn't gonna take her permission for granted.
Yeah, I hear you.
So he bought some First Light shit. He bought some shit from Tyler. He's one of Jake is he's the vice president of the Doe group.
Mm-hmm.
He won a raffle on one of Tyler's raffles 2 years ago. And so he's got a couple $100 worth of gift cards to Tyler's website. So he just buys shit whenever he wants it off T&K.
Yeah.
And he also gets the military discount because him and Tyler were both in the Marines, I think at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything I've bought is something that I use for whitetail as well. Like I literally have my my stand attached to that day pack right now just because I was testing it out, but it's attached to it. So I'm not buying anything just specifically for the Idaho trip. I did get hiking boots, just a good set of hiking boots. Obviously, that's a necessity, but I'll wear those in Illinois as well. When I go hunting and it's not super, super cold.
Yeah. I was on Dan Johnson or Nine Finger Chronicles or whatever. I was on that show 6 months ago. We talked about gear that we loved and hated from last season. And some of the gear that I loved, I was like, bee sticks, these pants. I think that's the doctor's office. Anyway.
Not important.
No, it's not for my kid, or else I'd have called my wife.
For your STDs.
Yeah. Yeah. All my blood work's back and I'm fucked. And then I got these really nice pants from Badlands and boots. And those were like, you take that shit for granted until you need the good stuff. And that's what he and I talked about. And Made in America stuff is more important now than ever.
For sure. Yeah, I've been super impressed with everything I've gotten from him. And I know, so like even I've not even hit him up about this yet, but like I bought one of the first, maybe it was like the second gen Bino harness, and it still has, I wish I had it here, but it's got like the stretchy, whatever, where it meets the straps. It's kind of starting to get worn out. And I think he's since changed that.
The elastic.
I know that, that stuff. I know for a fact that I can just hit him up and be like, hey, this stuff's kind of wearing out. I'll be like, send it back and we'll fix it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And he posted a picture the other day of his shop and all the new people he's got in there making stuff. So
yeah, I'm happy for him. He's a good dude.
Yeah. And when you can make your own shit and control your supply chain pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Judging by his posts, it sounds like he's doing pretty good at tack. Sounds like he's selling quite a bit out there.
Good. I probably will never go to one of them things.
Probably not.
I just
never know.
I can barely see 100 yards.
No shit.
I'm not shooting my bow 100 yards.
Bro, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but those things are thick, boy.
Yeah, mine are the same, if not worse. And it's like, no way in fucking hell.
I'm excited to get my new sight in. They haven't started shipping them yet, but they said projected in July.
I kicked around the thought of like a new release and a new site, and I've got an IQ 3 pin.
Yeah.
And I just like the they call it retina lock or some shit like that. It's like a rheostat in the middle that lets you know if you're torquing your bow at all. And I just like it. Tyler always made fun of me because he goes, "That's just one thing to distract you." I was like, "No, because trust me, if that thing's off, I can typically feel it."
Yeah.
And I like having everything lined up.
If you have the process, then it's all the same. You know, it's all what you train with. You know that.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, I got that.
I've had that for
I ordered
years.
one of those new dialed ones though, so we'll see what the hype matches up.
Yeah, I wanted a single pin. I thought I did anyway, but
This one's got the it's a single pin, but it's got the little pin or dot at the base of the arm, so you have 2 dots at least. So you just got to figure out, or obviously everybody's would be different, but you got to just figure out what that second dot would be. If so, say if you're at 20, you're set at 20, what that bottom one would be. That way you have options, kind of like a dual pin if you needed to use it like that.
right.
Like if you're like me and you go to try to kill something and you scare it away and it stops and looks at you and blows and it's at around 50 yards, and you don't have to move your pin if that's what your second one's already kind of at.
Yeah. You don't have to rearrange it and dial it.
Yeah. Just let them fly. Fling me some arrows.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what do you think?
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, it's time to get my day started. It's 1:30.
Oh, you're off today, aren't you?
Yeah, and I got training tomorrow morning, so I'm glad.
I took overtime tonight, so I
I
haven't done nothing but work, but this money is too good right now. We just had a kid quit and go to Champaign. So all his hours are on the hire back list. And we got 2 guys on vacation right now. Have been on. They're in their second week of vacation. So all their hours are on the hire back list. So yeah, I just been working around the clock for like 3 weeks. And then we got I got a overtime detail with the US Marshals coming up in 2 weeks. Then like we got the county fair.
Speaking of that, did I tell you the story about Bane biting me?
About what?
About my dog biting me?
Oh no.
Did I show you the pictures?
No.
Oh yeah, dude. So this will be for viewing pleasure as well for the listeners. So there I was. It's been a couple months back. It was a winter time. There's snow on the ground. Had a gentleman who is on parole, possibly committed crime, and nothing serious, but whatever. So I go to talk to him, and as I pull up to his house, he's pulling into his yard in his car, and he actually lives in an abandoned church. So he pulls into his yard knowing I'm there, and he probably just did something stupid. So there's a chance he can go to jail. So I walk up, and I know who he is, and I know he's not very cooperative ever. So long story short, the officer that was in charge of the call radioed me that he was going to take the gentleman into custody for assault, which I know a lot of people out there think that assault is whenever you strike somebody, but it's not. That's called battery in Illinois, at least. Assault is just saying you're going to do something. So not very.
It's like threatening bodily harm or something.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm going to punch you. That would be an assault.
They had to be within a reasonable apprehension of receiving a battery or whatever the fuck it says in the book. But anyway.
But so not super serious. You know, people say that shit all the time. So I'm trying to explain to dude who's still sitting in his car and only has his window cracked about that much to talk to me. Car's running. He keeps messing with the shifter. So I already know what's going to happen.
Oh, is this the one that ran on you where the window shattered?
Yeah, I broke the window out. I
shattered
his window and he took off.
Yeah, I saw this.
So, X amount of weeks go by because he got away. We didn't chase him because there
Right.
was
We were in on that.
an
We
ice
were in on
storm.
that chase.
But yeah, because he went out in the county and like wrecked and shit. Like I don't know, it was weird. But
Yeah.
it was really really icy. It was our first bad ice storm, so we didn't pursue. So whatever, he starts like calling some like congresswoman or something, like I don't know, saying weird shit. So the marshals came down to get him. So I load up with them and we go to said church where he's living, and he had barricaded everything, knowing that we were coming at some point. So I got Bane out to deploy him, and they're working on getting the door open. Well, Bane, there's a lot of factors that went into it, and it's my fault, all of it. But like, so our winter was really shitty weather, so it's hard to really do any kind of training with a dog whenever it's that cold out and shitty. And then also, like when he's at home, I have him inside in the garage, so he doesn't even get to like be outside and run around in his normal area to burn off the energy that those dogs have. So just weeks of him being cooped up. I felt so. I even went to my admin and asked if I could go get, or if I could buy like one of those canine treadmill things that he could just burn energy on, because I didn't have. Anyways, it didn't happen, but whatever. So I knew something bad was going to happen because he had so much built up energy. So anyways, we get out and deploy. Well, they're trying to get in the door and it's barricaded, so it's taking forever. And he's starting to go nuts. Like I'm like looking at him. I'm like, he's not usually this jacked up. So he wears a harness. So I grab onto it and kind of keep him next to me. And I see him kind of look back at me, and he like turns and like jumps on me, and which isn't super abnormal. He'll come up and say hi all the time. Well, he starts kind of biting that shit on my vest, which also is not super abnormal. He's done it before. He just gets jacked up. He's a Malinois. So I'm like, fucking quit it. Like push his head down, and I'm like, get focused again. So he looks back at the house and he's like, oh, looking ready. And then they're just, beating on the door. Can't get it open. So then he's just like loses his patience, turns back towards me, jumps back up on me and starts biting my vest again. And kind of grab him by the throat. And I'm like, fucking like look in his eyes, and I'm like, stop. Quit being an asshole. So I'm like pushing him back down to the ground. And as he's sliding down my leg, he just grabs my leg right above the knee. So now I'm in the middle of this guy's yard on my knees, like, hey, I'm getting bit by my dog. So luckily one of our task force guys was an ex-handler. So he ran over and grabbed him by the collar, but he was on my leg for 40 seconds, 40.
Aufliegen.
40 seconds.
Aufliegen.
Yeah, no, it wasn't working. No, I was talking to him. He did not give a shit. He did not care. He was biting. He knew he was biting me. So yeah, I actually got the scars. Let's see if I can show them here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's one, and then there's one almost exactly like it on the backside.
How many stitches?
3 on each. They didn't. They stitched them like lightly so they could all drain because it's bacteria and shit.
Yeah.
So 3 on top, 3 on bottom. But yeah, I'll have to send you some pictures of that. It looked like I got stabbed. So that's what happened last time the marshals came into town.
Well, the marshals are in town all the time, but they're doing a hire back with us for like $50 an hour to I think it's we're gonna go chase down non-compliant sex offenders.
Yeah. So
And then
after
we got-
that, actually, I've been talking to one of them about getting on their task force, so I'd be able to go hit warrants and stuff. I've not heard any updates on that, but hopefully that's
well,
that happens.
We get all kinds of random details and stuff like that. We get the state police task forces. We're on that team also. Well, 2 of the guys in the department are. And then, but even the marshals thing, I got one day of that. Then I got, we got like a big concert thing, a 4-day concert deal coming to town, and then county fair also. So that's all. And then there's like a pipeline or something they're building. They need overnight security for.
Hell yeah. Money in the bank, boy.
Yeah, so I'll be busy the rest of the summer, that's for sure. But I am going to Chicago in 3 weeks. Taking the train up there, going to Wrigley for the weekend for a bachelor party.
Nice. Think you can handle that anymore? You're getting old.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah. Chicago can get a little hairy.
Well, my buddy that's getting married, he was one of my old roommates in college. So, and most of my old roommates live in the burbs. Now they do.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's an easy place to get a little wild.
Right. Well, we're only going to be in Chicago for the game itself. We got, I don't know what he does for work anymore, but this particular buddy got one of the rooftops across the street, left field line. One of the rooftops, it's like an all-inclusive deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all you can eat and drink or whatever while you're there. And he got a reservation for that whole deal for his bachelor party. So that's what we're coming to town for. But we're taking the train in from the burbs for that, stay all day, and then we'll spend Friday in the burbs and then Saturday in the burbs, and I'll come home on the train Saturday or Sunday morning because I got to work that night. But
be rough.
And I'll sleep the whole time because it's a long ass train ride.
Mm.
But it was only like $65 for a round trip train ride. And I just put that in my truck today and didn't even get a half a tank. So
yeah, that's solid. You couldn't make it here and back on 65.
Probably not. I mean, I got to go to Springfield and I'll just have my mom drop me off at the train station, or I'll just park my car at my mom's house and Uber to the train station.
Yeah.
What I hope doesn't happen is I hope I don't get held over on some bullshit the night before, because there's only 2 hours between when I get off work and when the train leaves. So whatever.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah. So then, yeah, the rest of the summer I haven't even looked at my trail cameras. I haven't bought batteries. I haven't done none of that stuff. I still got two or three cameras that I haven't even gotten because the water was too high in the they've been dead for months and they're just sitting on the tree because I went turkey hunting over there and there's certain spots you just couldn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're damn near in a drought, probably run out there one of these days and get them.
Yeah, they're calling for a drought through September. But yeah, on that point, I've not done any scouting. And night shifts really fucks me on that because I stay on that same schedule, but I haven't been in the woods since.
I don't have a single camera out that works. I don't have nothing.
I do enjoy when you send me like before and after, and it'll be a picture of a deer, and then 2 months or like maybe a couple of days even later, you're sending me a picture of a duck swimming by it.
Yeah. That was last summer. That was real bad.
That's hilarious.
I had half a dozen cameras that were submerged for a month at a time.
That's crazy.
And they all still work.
Interesting.
People talk shit about wild game innovations, but
you probably can't see the picture, but the motherfucker still takes them.
Yeah, it still takes them. But yeah, it's funny because you get wood duck pictures and it's like this close.
That's too funny.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, do you need cover art? If you need cover art for this one, use my Facebook picture for my cool trophy shots.
Well, I might just scroll back to where you just got really close to the camera and use that.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure something out. We'll stay in contact, but yeah.
I just got a Traeger for Father's Day.
Oh, dude, they're dope. We got 2 of them.
Well, your girlfriend is the one that put the idea in my wife's head. So,
dude, well worth it. However, I did hear one guy his burn up the other day, but
Steve Moeller was having temperature problems with his. The thermostats or whatever the temperature control deal, it was like 60 degrees higher than what the knob said.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he was cooking.
Is yours like the cool new one that's got like all the digital and you have it to your phone and you can set all that shit up?
I don't know. It's still in my in-laws garage because I haven't been able to get over there and bring it back. It's like the 734 or something like that. Or whatever. I don't know. Or no,
I'm assuming if they just bought it, is it like
It's-
brand new?
no, it's a year or two old, but she got
Okay.
it for like a hellacious deal. I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't ask.
Well, if
But-
it's just so ours are just the dial ones, and you can't do anything cool like hook it up to your phone and shit. Because that now they have it to where like you can do everything from your phone, obviously like everything else in life, but you can see what temperature the meat is. You can turn it on, off, set the temperature. You can do to clean whatever all of your phone. Well, these ones aren't, so there's a lot less to go wrong because you know how I feel about technology. There's always shit that goes wrong, so that might be why some people are having problems, but ours have been fucking fantastic.
Yeah, you got the
One of them-
tailgater one and then the bigger one, right?
It's not even the tailgater one. It's just a kind of the smaller size, but it's still on. it was like their first like regular grill, and then she got the bigger one whenever it came out. But and the smaller one even survived Malinois attack too. So there you go, still going.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have me a party one of these days.
Hell yeah. Too bad you don't live closer. Be easier to party
I know.
more.
Dude, if you can't drive 40 minutes to see me, you can kiss my Irish ass.
Is it only 40?
If you take 16,
Solid. Yeah, you'll have to cook me some stuff up. Tell you what, if I kill an elk, I'll bring some over. You can cook it
Deal.
up for me.
deal, pinky promise. All right, got it.
Yeah.
It's on the
All right,
books.
I gotta get my day started.
Yep, I got a fucking motor.
Thanks for jumping on here. Appreciate y'all listening to our shenanigans. Apologize if I'm not putting them out as much as you guys would like. I know that like you guys probably are just addicted to listening to my voice and these podcasts, and I'm sorry that I've not been able to produce your addiction for the last couple weeks, but you know, it is what it is. We're just doing this as we want and not making it a huge super huge stress on my life like I kind of was at the beginning. I was trying to stick to the schedule almost too hard, and just kind of was stressing out a little bit, but now I'm just doing it for fun, just whenever something pops up. So appreciate y'all listening. I mean, I guess everybody says like go rate the episodes on their podcast, so you can do that if you want.
Yeah, like and subscribe, leave a written review, 5-star written
Yeah, all
review.
that. Something about it helps something, so do that.
Follow Pike County Trophy
Follow-
Doe Hunters on Instagram.
Yep. Follow us as well if you're not already. Fill out an application to be a team member of Pike County Trophy Doe Hunters Association.
If you really want to, you email me at pctdha@gmail.com.
It's a very prestigious company to be a part of, group.
Oh, timeout. We have a new member. I need to shout him out real quick.
I saw that. Congrats.
His name's Josiah Overton. He is a bad motherfucker. He's a new hunter. And if you want to know how big of a badass he is, just Google him.
Hell yeah. What was his name again? Josiah
Overton.
Overton. Fuck yeah. Congrats, Josiah. It's a big accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else in his life has been as big as this, I'm sure.
Probably not.
I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Yeah, till the next one.
All right, peace out.
Toodles.